Hey everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to the October 2021 channel update. We're going to try and take a look behind the numbers, go on about 15 minutes. Basically, I just kind of ramble about things about the channel, talk about some thoughts that have been bouncing around my empty skull. We'll take a look at kind of what's going on now, and then also talk a little bit about kind of where I'm thinking to go with the channel in the next couple months or so. So let's jump in right and get started. The first place we usually start with one of these is the numbers. So here are the numbers. Let's go here. Overall, if I had to say, what's the last month been like? It's been kind of slow, steady growth, pretty much like what it's been since end of May, early June. We started doing the Wargaming videos and then kind of added in the American Truck Simulator content to the Euro Truck Simulator content. So it's really kind of very slow growth. And if we look here at some of these numbers, so here is views over the last 28 days. It doesn't look like it's going up because it's subtle. Same thing with watch time. But where it becomes apparent is when you look at it kind of on a longer term scale. This is over the past year. So here's like watch time. So 7, 8 hours, 4 hours a day down in May. And now up here and it's, 30, 40, 50. I think the highest was on October 9th. Where is it? 71 maybe? There it is. Can't get it. But anyway, somewhere in there. There we go. 62, 71 on October 9th, I think is the highest. So heading towards 100. It's someday we might get there. But I think, you can kind of see this. And if we look at the views, it's the same line. And I think really what happened back then, we say, why did this happen? What moved on? I think before June, the channel was really defined by its Football Manager content and Euro Truck Simulator 2, which was kind of a side content stream on the side. And that kind of balanced those things out, added the American Truck Simulator content in, and then started doing the board games, the historical games, the war games episodes right around the beginning of June. I think the first one was June 1st or so, or right at the end of May. And I think what's happened then is that content is much more evergreen than the Football Manager content. And by that, I mean, 2 weeks after you make like a Football Manager Let's Play episode, if you go back in and look at the views in it, there's not too many people in there looking at it because I think most people either pick up new. Now, there's always people kind of going through the whole series and we'll post comments on some of the older episodes and things. But by and large, the majority of the views happen in the first week or two, and then there's not much. Whereas with the Wargaming content, the Euro Truck Simulator and the American Truck Simulator content, because each one of those are kind of focused episodes, kind of an achievement or some kind of historical tour or trivia or something like that. Because they're kind of focused, they keep getting views over time. The same with the Wargaming content. I'll go back and look at those. They're much shorter series, maybe only an episode for some of the unboxings. They continually get views a month, 2 months, 3 months later. So that's kind of what's been building up, I think, this base or this library of videos that are watchable for longer than 2 weeks, by and large. And so that's what I think kind of led to this slow, steady growth. And I can't believe I did it for almost a year before I started thinking, okay, maybe I should make content that's lasting longer than a couple of weeks. Because like a Football Manager episode, you play in between and you make it. It's probably about 6 hours to make an episode of Football Manager. And then 2 weeks later, people don't watch it. So that's something, we'll talk a little bit about that going forward too, because I've been thinking a little bit about that for upcoming things we're doing next. So yeah, steady as she goes in terms of growth and stuff like that. And if we look at some of the numbers on some of the different series, here's what the numbers look like on Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator. So you can see there how the views go and things. And again, small channel, 200, 300, 400 views. Some of them 500. There's 1,000 in there on American Truck Simulator episode 11. But they keep getting views over time, so they kind of keep gradually going up, some more than others and things like that. But it's always fun to make something and see the comments, about 20 comments or so, between 20 and 30 comments on different ones. And people seem to enjoy them, and it's been fun to make them and stuff like that. So yeah, this has kind of been, I think, I never thought I would make as many videos as I did, closing in on 100 episodes combined. But it's kind of like gaming zen for me now. The game's so deep that I just kind of keep on playing and just enjoy making them and stuff. So that's all good and well. Then if we look at, let's take a look at Wargame. That'll probably pick up most of the Wargaming one. This is still pretty new, but the views have been good. By and large, almost all of them get over 100. Some in the 200, 300s or so, 400s. I think we've got one, the very first one, the Africa Corps one's over 1,000. The Sherman Leader one looks like it's getting up close to 1,000 now. If we look at some of the other ones, yeah, 1,500 on the Africa Corps. I thought like 3 people would watch that. It's still kind of bad. So that's always been cool to see that one's doing so well. Yeah, so and some under 100, but still, I think the comments and the likes, it seems like people enjoy them and they've been really fun to make. By far, that's the I think the most fun new thing to do in the past 3 or 4 months is add that in the channel. So no intent to change that and kind of keep on going. I'm really enjoying that. If we look at Football Manager real quick, I know the numbers were going down towards September as Football Manager 21 kind of way, but they've steadied back off now, kind of 40s and 50s and 60s or so. So that feels better than, I know they were stuck in 20s for a while. I mean, I guess people came back and watched them after a bit too, but for a while there, that was in a real lull. And that's still the lower of the three because I think Football Manager 21 is at the end of its game cycle and Football Manager 22 is coming out. But, still, that is so much fun to make. And yeah, it's such a great game, especially for long stories like this. So I'm happy that that's going well and kind of doing what it is and people still enjoy it and things like that too. So that's a look at kind of what's going on. Those are the three big things that's going on. I think in terms of what's next at the channel, kind of a step back moment and things like that. Just hit 893 subscribers a little while ago and it's gaining, so the last 28 days, it gained a little bit over 100 subscribers. Which means that long goal, like when you start a YouTube channel, I feel like 1,000 subscribers is where it becomes a thing. That's where YouTube kind of says you can monetize if you want to. And it's like in the YouTube world, it's this little infinitesimal speck that it's become at 1,000 subscribers. It exists kind of thing. Anyway, so with that in mind, the question is what to do at 1,000 subscribers. And I don't want to make money on the channel, but one thing that has become apparent over the course of the past 3 or 4 months, especially with doing the war game and historical games where you're doing it on a board, it's required more cameras, more microphones, more lights. I built a table that was like $150 and stuff like that. And then buying, kind of getting the games. I mean, it's fun to buy the game. It's like, okay, I have to buy the games or stuff like that. And eventually I'm hopeful that maybe some review copies will come in and things like that, because I'd love to do that if people want games reviewed and things like that, to do the same kind of thing for a review copy for the game. But for the moment, it's kind of buying the games, buying the gear, kind of getting stuff. And I want to get another mic. I'm not really happy with the audio still on those. So there are, kind of looking at what's going on, it's like, yeah, kind of spending a bit of money here. It's like, so my thought is, when we get to that, I don't really want to make money on this, but I would like to not lose less, but be kind of consuming less money on the course of a month, especially that we have 2 kids in college and stuff. So my thought is to do something at 1,000. That's how long it says, okay. And I think one of the 2 ways it could go is ads on YouTube videos. And I'm not a big fan of ads, and certainly, but having said that, the ones that I don't mind are the ones that, like, there's 2 ads at the beginning of a video and they're skippable. That seems to be, I get it. I get why people are doing it. I'm happy to watch those ads for other channels if there's something that's not super annoying kind of thing. But let me know what you think on that, because that's kind of one way I'm doing it. The other way I'd like to do it, the other thing I'm thinking about is a Patreon. For people that want to help out that way and things like that. So those are the 2 things I'm thinking of. I haven't really thought too deeply on the Patreon. I haven't really thought too deeply on the ads, but over the course of the next month, that's kind of what I'm going to be thinking about, with just the idea to kind of take a dent out of some of the expenses of doing this as a hobby kind of thing. But I'd be curious to hear what people think about it, so let me know down below. So yeah, that's kind of the thoughts, the channel level thoughts kind of going forward. If I were to kind of take a look at what's going on and what's next, so let's go there a little bit. I mean, the 3 series that are going on right now are Football Manager 21. Now that's coming to the end of its life cycle, and within a week or 2, the beta for Football Manager 22 is going to be out. And the question is what to do with that. And that brings up that whole question of that the Football Manager Let's Play episodes are probably the biggest investment of time to make an episode, and they have the shortest lifespan of an episode. However, Football Manager 22 is a game that's made for long saves, right? I mean, the idea is you get a player and then you want to see them play for 3 or 4 years, or as a manager, you start out like at the lowest level and you work your way up. So it's a game that really almost demands long-term saves, and yet long-term saves are super inefficient for growing a channel. So the question is what to do. One of the thoughts I had was shorter series, or maybe a slow, longer series. I'm also thinking to do I have an idea for some evergreen Football Manager content, not necessarily tutorials or anything like that, but a few types of experiments that I haven't seen done yet that I want to kind of toy with and make some episodes for that. But Having said that, the thing I like the most about Football Manager is making the let's saves, those kind of story plays where you've got a manager, you start at the bottom, or build a team up like we did with Nuneaton 2 years ago. And this year has been super fun with the walkabout, starting in Czech Republic and going there. And I like the walkabout idea, and I kind of tempted to want to continue something along those lines, combining health with Football Manager. And got some other ideas that I want to put in. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I definitely want to do something. I just don't quite know what shape it is. And the utmost thing I know I don't want to do is I don't want to make stuff that I don't like making because it's good for the channel. That I want to do this only as long as it's fun, and I want to make fun stuff because I think that shows up in the content too, for example. So I'm kind of thinking of that. I think right now the short term is to finish the Football Manager series right now. We probably the last season now with Tottenham. I think we kind of, because we've gone kind of from Czech Republic up to Tottenham, and originally was hoping to make the Champions League final and win it, but we're doing pretty well, I think, at Tottenham, all things considered. So I think it might be a story that we could leave and say, yeah, we did that thing, and now let's move to Football Manager 22. But let me know your thoughts. And then I think after that's done, I want to kind of go just lock myself in a closet for like 3 hours and take notes and write things down and think about what I want to do with Football Manager 22 going forward. I have an idea for a beta save that I think would be 1 or 2 seasons that I want to try that I think would be kind of fun. So that's there, kind of like the Godfather thing that we did last year. But that's all set. So that's with Football Manager 22. Doing something, I'm not quite sure yet. Want to finish up the other episode. The American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, I think the path right now is keep doing the same thing. Because it kind of just, whatever I want to make an episode on, I can go do it. Whether it's historical episode, an achievement, just go for a drive, just chat. Sometimes there's events and stuff like that. Just kind of go with the flow and enjoy the game zen behind making those episodes and exploring the countries and exploring Europe and the United States and stuff like that. So no changes there, kind of thinking still to do that. Wargaming and historical gaming, I'm really enjoying making it. Super fun, steady as she goes. I think the only thing I'm trying to figure out is how to balance all the different types of war games and historical games. So there's solitaire games, 2-player games where we play one side. I'd like to start to get into some 2-player match games themselves. Maybe do some stuff on Vassal, which is the digital system for playing war games online and stuff like that. So that's there. I want to also go back into some of the older games like we did with Africa Corps. So many things I'd like to do with that. The question is how to find the time to do in there. But I think the plan for that's going to be the same thing. To go, right now we're doing the Hunters. That series is going to last until we sink the U-boat. So maybe one more episode or maybe 15 more episodes. I don't really know. But then when that's done, I think I'm going to transition into a 2-player game and play both sides of that and keep going there. But kind of short series, generally 2 to maybe 7 or 8 episodes and kind of keep doing through those as we explore different games and stuff. So that's the plan there. That brings up the question is, I would like to do newer content too. And I'm not quite sure how to fit that in because between the trucking episodes and the Wargaming episodes and then the Football Manager episodes, doesn't leave a lot of time for finishing up things like the Panzer Corps series. I'd like to go in and do some more war games on the PC, as well as some general strategy games. I've talked for the longest time about Crusader Kings 3, Heart of Iron 4, Europa Universalis. I'd love to do some series on those. Those would be really fun and be able to fit those in. But a full-time job, which I'm not going to quit. I like my job, and we have, again, 2 kids in college, so I kind of need that money. And this would never make anywhere close to that much money. So the goal really is, I think, to kind of keep going as best I can and kind of squeeze things in. But I'd love to figure out a way to get some new games and some new episodes in there too. So I think that's everything. I'm trying to I had some notes here and stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. So steady as she goes, still quite going and thinking about what to do at 1,000 subs. And as always, when I end one of these or when I start one of these or some point one of these, a huge thank you to all the new people that have subscribed. I know there's been a lot of new people commenting, so it's been really fun to see new people commenting and to get to kind of interact with people and stuff like that. By far, the most fun part of this is when you put out an episode or put out a video or something like that, and then that kind of conversation with people that spawns after that, whether it connects with something they've done or they've seen, or they bring in comments to make it better, or criticisms or feedback to make things better and things like that too. So that by and far has been the most enjoyable part of all of this. And I didn't expect that coming into it. I never thought that was a part that would happen. I was thinking, I'll make videos, it'll be fun, but it's been that community element that builds up afterwards. That's pretty cool. So thanks to everybody who's the new subscribers, for all the people that have watched and commented. And every time you hit that thumbs up button. That helps the channel as well too. So thank you so much for all of that. That is by far the highlight of doing all of this. And I'm always so humbled when you see people, like, you think you make something and then people watch it and enjoy it. So that's always the best feeling. The best feeling you could ask for as a creator, I think, is that one right there. I think that's it. October update complete. We'll be back in a month. And, I don't know what happens with subs. I still feel like, okay, it's going to drive and it's going to stop. And like all of a sudden there's going to be no subs again. So, but at the path we're going, it looks like by the end of the year, might hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, which would be pretty cool. And that's kind of still thinking about what to do when we get there in terms of how to be as least intrusive as possible, yet give the opportunity for people that would like to help out to do so in part of the channel and things. So thanks as always for watching. Ideas, thoughts, reactions on the ads, on Patreon, on content, on things you'd like to see. Dump them all down in the comments, and I look forward to reading them and stuff. So take care, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you again in another month.